afternoon. My name is Jackie, and I am going to be presenting the importance that the song This Land Is Your Land had on the American people and how it came to be. This song was written by Woody Guthrie, and after doing a lot of research on this topic, I can present my three sources, being the Kennedy Center, History.com, and Poem Analysis. Woody Guthrie came from a fortunate background, but after a few years in his teens, he decided that he wanted to be on the road and writing music. He got on freight trains and went with the little possessions that he had, including his guitar and harmonica. It is said that during his adventures, he noticed the injustice that many Americans were going through due to capitalism, and he decided to become an activist. He made music for the working class, and he gave them a voice. A quote coming from History.com says that he lived and wrote of the American West, and it wasn't as fascinating as cowboys and the Wild Wild West as many movies have it represented. He chose to put the reality. He chose to put the people dealing with the disparaging of the poor after the Great Depression. He chose to show what was really going on in the West. He wrote this song apparently after listening to the song God Bless America by Irving Berlin too many times. He chose to make it kind of as a response, and that is how This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie came to be. It was written in the 1940s, but it was not released until the 1950s. And I believe that Woody made sure that under the folk song, it would provoke thoughts in the mind of Americans. Unfortunately, he did have to endure censorship and cut out some parts that were a little too political. A particular verse that I really like that was cut out was, I see, at the steeple, I see my people at the relief office. I see my people, and I stand there thinking, is this land made for you and me? This is the only verse that has the question at the end, is this the land for you and me? And I think that evokes thoughts of many different times where maybe you thought the land wasn't for you. I know I felt that way a few times, so it definitely invokes some passion and thoughts. I think this was very important to many Americans because it included the people, the working class, the majority. So it was such a hit, in fact, that in 2002, according to the Kennedy Center, the Library of Congress added it to their catalog, and this was 50 years later after it was written and released. It is said also by the Kennedy Center that Guthrie was drawn to the plight of American workers and embraced socialist beliefs. Now, if you know anything about the history of America and their distrust towards socialist and communist beliefs, back in the 1940s, it was especially dangerous to have that kind of opinion. It was more likely that you were going to be labeled a communist and thrown in jail. So having those beliefs was dangerous, but he did it for the good of the people. And I think that's very admirable. So before he died, he ended up inspiring many other artists such as Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan Those are the honorable, more known mentions. There were several other artists as well. So he inspired a new generation of music. And then, of course, those artists are going to be inspiring another generation of music. So I think that's very beautiful. One of the things that was said on Poem Analysis by Woody Guthrie was, quote, "At last, the poet firmly says that the land was made for the people. So it's their right to live in and protest when anything is going wrong," end quote. I think that as the people who are in the working class and the people that need to protest, being me and the people around me, it's important to encourage each other to vote. It's important to encourage each other to pay attention to the news and be an activist and fight for our rights, because no one else will. We have to.